Good morning. This webinar offers closed captioning. To enable closed captioning, click on the live transcript button on the bottom of your screen and choose your preferred method. Welcome to the Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection webinar. Please note any website or email that I mentioned will be posted in the chat box. For those seeking business license assistance, you can visit the Small Business Center here at City Hall or call 312-74-GO-BIZ. Also, business license can be applied for or renewed online at chicagobusinessdirect.org. If you are a part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. To learn more, please visit chicago.gov/business education. This webinar is being recorded and will be available at youtube.com/Chicago BACP. We would like to encourage all attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box to send your questions. There will be a Q&A session at the end of this presentation. Please note that the views, information, and opinions expressed during this webinar are solely those of the presenter and does not necessarily represent the official policy or position of the Department of Business Affairs, Consumer Protection, or the City of Chicago. Today's webinar is entitled Startup Success, How to Use the Business Model Canvas. At this time, I will now turn this webinar over to the Women's Business Development Center for us to begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Startup Success, How to Use the Business Model Canvas. We're going to have fun today going through this tool. I love to use this tool to help people who are either starting up or who would like to pivot into a different industry or add a different revenue stream to their business. So welcome. My name is Maura Mitchell. I'm Managing Director of Entrepreneurial Services, Division 2. There's my email address. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. There's my LinkedIn profile, that QR code. You can just scan that and get access to my LinkedIn profile. I'm actually running through the Business Model Canvas through LinkedIn right now. I'm on box number 3 of 9. So I'm explaining how to use the Business Model Canvas on LinkedIn. So feel free to check out my LinkedIn profile. Feel free to check out the Women's Business Development Center website at www.wbdc.org. I will put that in the chat right now. So you can access our website. I'll tell you a little bit about me and a little bit about the Women's Business Development Center. So again, my name's Maura Mitchell. I've been at the Women's Business Development Center for 5 years. I work with over 2,000 clients. I can't believe it. My sweet spot is really helping people from an idea get to revenue. So get to your first customer. And I can help you do that. If you stay to our strict plan and work with me, I can act as your accountability partner. I am a lawyer and I have an MBA in finance from the Booth School of Business. I also help my family run a manufacturing business. I'm on the board of directors, so I'm not really involved in the day-to-day of the business, but I do read the financials and brainstorm about how to solve the problems of a small business. During COVID, we had issues with supply chain. We had issues with people getting sick, people quitting. Every day it seems like a new issue pops up, which you know if you're running a business. Oh, the chat is disabled, so I'm not able to see what was typed in. Okay, let's see. How can
I can fix it. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it.
Great. Okay. Thank you. So that's me. If you are new to Zoom, some of you might be. Some of us have been using it. It seems like forever. But you can chat, ask a question through the chat, or you can go to the reactions section. And if you hit raise hand, I'll be able to answer your question. That way you can, you'll get help turning off your mute button and asking a question live. So please feel free to reach out. Oh, hello, Miss Maura. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so today I want you to introduce yourself. You'll do that in the chat. I don't want everyone to speak up because, well, we don't have enough time for that. Become oriented with the Women's Business Development Center. We'll review the business model canvas and we'll start drafting your business model canvas. So I would love for everyone to put their name and their business idea in the chat so we can kind of introduce each other. I know it's not in person, but if you want to put your email address also, it's up to you. I know it's private, but if you want to share your name, your business idea, and your email address, people may see what you're doing and want to reach out to you and partner up with you. I always encourage people to network with others, meet other people, because you never know who can help you with your business. So let's see what people are. Ariel, Wynn, ground floor PT, pelvic floor physical therapy clinic. Mohammed is opening a consulting firm. Oh, is this women business only? We help 85% of our businesses are women, but we do help about 15% men, so no worries. Anyone else want to share their business idea? Yvette is doing a nonprofit feeding the homeless. Jasmine, sustainable vegan cafe and pastries. Arlene is an independent television and film producer. Kiara is a project management consultant and she runs a podcast. Great to hear. Wynn brings healthy snacks to communities across Chicago. David started his own pet sitting business, doing this for 8 years. Great. Skincare line Nakia is doing. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so the Women's Business Development Center, our mission is to support and accelerate business development and growth. So we target women, but we serve all diverse business owners in order to strengthen their participation in and impact on the economy. So what we find when people start up businesses, it improves their family's wealth, improves the community's wealth, and helps society as a whole. So how do we do this? Oh, I'm going to stay here. Capacity building to scale businesses. So we have a scale up program. If you go on our website, let me retype in www.wbdc.org. You can see all of our programming, all of our events. We have no cost business advising and financial support to help you develop, manage, and grow your business. We help childcare entrepreneurs, Latinas. We have a number of Spanish-speaking advisors. We help with exporting services. We have an international trade center, and we do WBE certification as well as public sector procurement opportunities. So we have a PTAC organization also at the Women's Business Development Center. So my team, the Entrepreneurial Services team, really helps with these services. We offer the no-cost one-on-one advice, and that is offered throughout the center. So if you're a startup, you come to me and my team, and if you're early scaling, then you come to me and my team. Then those that have been in business for 2 or more years go to the scale-up team, and then we have a Women Business Enterprise Certification team that works with our really established businesses, our advanced businesses that can get certified and help corporations or government agencies. We help with the development of business plans and business model canvases. I do not like the business plan. I really don't help people do a business plan unless you are ready to get a loan or ready to get investors. That's really the only time you need a business plan. You need a plan, but not a 30-page business plan. I prefer you have a business model canvas, and that's what we're going to work through today. And I'll describe it more in depth. It's really just a one-page plan. So it has all your ideas down on one piece of paper. A business plan takes so long to do, so long to write. And what happens are people write their business plans, they come up with a 30-page plan, they do their cash flow projections, and day one of their business, day two of their business, everything shifts and their whole business plan doesn't work anymore. Or it changes so much that you have to go back and change everything. And most people don't, so it just sits there. Whereas if you have this one-page plan and you can scribble on it and change it up, it's a much better way to start up or to shift, pivot your idea. We help with accessing market information and the development of marketing plans. So for example, I was helping a woman last week, and she wants to help women over 50 develop better eating habits, better exercise plans, better meditation plans, so that they feel better. So she has a niche, which I always recommend. But what we did together is we went online to Reference USA, that's at the library. You can use it online. The city of Chicago has access to, the library system has access to Reference USA, which is now called Data Axle. And what we did is we looked up all the wellness centers and workout places and yoga studios in the northwest suburbs, because that's where she was operating. So from there, she could go and call these business owners to see if they could use her expertise either in a webinar or on-site and meeting in person, so she could gain more access to individual women over 50 who were her target market. We offer assistance with accessing corporate and government contracts. My team really helps with the beginning parts of this. So if you are established and ready to take on a government contract, you have the capacity to take on a corporate contract, we can talk with you about it, about your idea, and then we'll funnel you to our corporate and government contract experts. We offer assistance with financial analysis and planning. In particular, I like to help with your revenue projections. I want to make sure your idea is financially feasible before you start and pay any money for anything. I don't like people coming in and having a website, having their business plan, having their LLC, having their business license if they haven't found out if they are financially feasible, if they can survive on the amount of money that their business will make for them. So we meet and talk through, okay, how many widgets will you sell in month one? And what's the price you can sell them for? And make sure that month one, month two covers your expenses and you can pay yourself. Now, it might not happen in the first 6 months, but we'd like to make sure that you're going to be happy with the amount of money that you possibly can earn. So I help with financial analysis. We also have a team of experts that are bankers, former bankers, and they can help with the final financial analysis and planning if you're looking for obtaining a traditional loan or a loan from us. We are a micro lender, but we do require another stream of income. So you really have to have a job, or your partner has to have a job in order to get a loan from us, a loan from a micro lender. Access to business education and training opportunities. So I'm doing this today. I have another webinar on November 2nd. If you're interested in how to use a SWOT analysis, you can head to our website and join that, sign up, register for that business topic. We help with technology, innovation, and entrepreneurial development. So that's the Women's Business Development Center, and that's me. Let's get right into the business model. Okay, the number one reason for startup failure, and we see it quite often, and failure is not bad. As an entrepreneur, you're actually going to fail probably a couple times before you hit the nail on the head. But the number one reason is that you have an amazing idea. You have a passion for this project, but no one else does. I just had a client say to me, no one has a passion for my idea as much as I do. So she decided to stop pursuing her idea, and she's going to try to think of a new way to do it. What happens is people get so passionate that they go ahead and start the business, but the marketplace doesn't know about their idea. The marketplace doesn't have the problem that they're trying to solve. The marketplace doesn't have the need that they're trying to meet. So no one buys anything. That's what this business model canvas will help you test to make sure that you have. I like to see people have one client before they actually do their LLC, before they do their EIN. I like to, some lawyers won't recommend that. Some lawyers want to say get your LLC before you have a customer, but I like to make sure you have a customer before you spend any money, or a prospective customer. You see the second step here, the second reason people fail at their startups is that they run out of cash. So I always recommend people have 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund set aside. So start saving now if you are interested in starting up in 6 months. The third reason is not the right team. So that's where I say, determine what you are strong at. Where are your strengths? And really realize what your weaknesses are, because you want to find team members that complement your weaknesses. So you want to have people who have strengths in your weaknesses. So I am good at numbers. I have an MBA in finance. I was a mathematics major in college, a computer science minor. I love numbers, but I'm not that great at marketing. I'm trying to learn, but my team has a marketing person on it. So how do you prevent this number one reason? How do you prevent not having the proper market, not serving a market? Using the business model canvas helps you. Here's an idea. Here's an example of 2 businesses that had the same solution to the same problem. They wanted to transform transportation within a city. But Segway did not test their idea, and they didn't have a market need. So they're still running. I know I just rode on a Segway, was in Copenhagen. They allow them on the streets because they have a lot of bike lanes. But Segway did not do enough testing of their idea, did not get out and talk to the market, did not make sense, did not look at their financials. Each of these Segways cost $3,000. So they were so expensive, people weren't going to buy them. And then they wanted to sell them to cities, but some cities don't even have room. I don't know. I know I've seen them in Chicago, but I haven't seen them lately. I'm not sure if they're allowed anymore. But Segway, the company, thought they were going to take off, and they didn't. And yet Uber ran a lot of tests before launching, and they made sure that they had market need for their Uber drivers. So here's just an example of a company that tested their idea, made sure there was a market need, and a company that did not test their idea. So the lean startup method is one solution to this problem. It's a different approach, and this is what I help people with, and most of my team does also. The issues are that entrepreneurs love their product or their service way too much. They have so much passion about it. They make banana bread, and their family loves it, and their friends love it, and they believe that they have a company. They have no plan, no roadmap, no market need, we just talked about, and inadequate funding. So this is kind of an approach that helps with that. So what it does is you start out here, you make some assumptions about your business. So you believe that your target market is, let's say I'm a yoga studio. I want to start a yoga studio. And I believe my target market is women in their 30s and 40s that have back problems. I want to start a yoga studio, and my niche is going to be helping those with back issues. So what I need to do is get out and talk to people about this idea. So what you do is you get out, you do some interviews, you talk to women in their 30s and 40s, and I find out that women in their 30s don't have back problems, or not as many, and they don't want to go to yoga studios. But women in their 40s, after talking to a number of them, I found that yes, they'd be interested in a yoga studio. So you measure the customer reaction, you get feedback on how they feel about your idea and what problem they have, and if you're solving their problem. And you learn and innovate while developing a loyal customer base. So the people that you get out and talk to about your idea become your market. So you get out and you talk to them, and you keep them in your email list, your database of possible customers, and you keep in touch with them. And then you ask them if they have a friend you can talk to. So rather than talking to just your friends and family, I encourage you to get out and talk to strangers. Get out of the building and talk to strangers. And there is something called a minimum viable product. This I don't really need to explain, but it's basically, if you are starting a product, for example, let's say you're starting Segway, instead of building that $3,000 Segway, you could try, a much smaller, less expensive version of it to test your idea in the marketplace, to have people ride your test bike or your minimum viable product to see if they like it. Now, Uber did have a minimum viable product. They started testing their idea with taxis. I can't remember what city it was in. I want to say Baltimore, but I'm not sure. But they had like 10 taxis that they put on an app. So they had a much scaled down version, and they tested to see if people called those taxis and used them for door-to-door service. So these are the issues. People come in and they say, I love my product. I know that people are going to love it, but they haven't tested it. They don't know if there's market need. And then other people don't have the funding needed. This helps a little bit with funding because you'll have some people that are your followers, some people that are behind you, and maybe they'll invest in your company, in your idea, after you talk to them about your approach. So what's the way to test your idea? It's called the Business Model Canvas. It's this one-page business plan. So what I want you to get out right now is a pencil and a piece of paper, or a pen and a piece of paper, because I'm going to take you through this. And I want this to be interactive. We're going to go through a case study using the Business Model Canvas so you know how to use it for yourself going forward. So I'm going to give you a minute to go get a pen and paper. Okay, so here is the sample of the Business Model Canvas. And I'm going to go through each of these 9 boxes, but this is what it looks like. If you want to draw this example, you can. You can also just put on your paper right now numbers 1 through 9 and leave some space. So you can write in what each of the boxes means. So here are the questions we're going to ask. And we start in the middle of the Business Model Canvas. So this is box number 1. How do you help people? What problem are you helping to solve for the customer? And we're going to go over these again. This is box number 2. Who do you help? Who are your customers? Who are your prospective customers? And what you do with this business model canvas, your first one, you're going to write down your beliefs. You're going to say, I believe I am helping women in their 40s with their back problems. And who I help, I put in box number 2, I believe I help women in their 40s. And then what you're going to do with all of your beliefs is get out and talk to people and test your beliefs. Test to see if they have the problem you want to solve. Test to see if they are the correct customers. So then we move to this box here, channels. How does your product get to your client? How will you reach clients you don't know if you don't know they need your services? That's box number 3. Box number 4 is how will you interact with your customers? Why do customers buy from you? How will you get more customers? So these are your customer relationships. Box number 5 is your revenue and benefits. What do you get? How do you earn money from your customers? Then we move over here to the left side of the business model canvas and we go to box 6. What do you do? What kind of activities do you need to do to provide value? So I believe as a yoga studio owner, I need to be the best yoga expert at back issues. I need to know how to do stretches. I need to know how to do postures and positions that will help my 40-year-old women with back problems. Number 7 is who you are and what you have. So who's on your team? That's your asset. What resources do you need in order to deliver on your value proposition? And your expertise is also an asset. So if I'm opening a yoga studio, hopefully I have experience as a yoga instructor and I'm certified in back issues. This box is number 8. So who are your key partners? With whom do you need to work to deliver your solution? Who are your suppliers or your vendors? So for the yoga studio, the supplier might be the yoga mat supplier or the incense supplier. Or if I have some attire, then it would be, the people that supply the t-shirts and yoga pants. And what you give, these are the costs of your business. So what are the major costs of the business? So we're going to think about that. So I hope you have down on your piece of paper 1 through 9. Box number 1 is the value you provide. Box number 2 is who are your customers, your prospective customers. Number 3 is your channels. Number 4 is how will you interact with your customers, kind of your marketing. Number 5 is the revenue. Number 6 is what key activities do you do? Number 7 are what resources do you need in order to deliver? Who's on your team? Number 8 is who helps you? Who are your key partners? And number 9 are your costs. Okay, so I will read this. This is going to be our case study for today. I want you to keep notes on it, take notes on certain things that you hear that make sense to you for the business model canvas. So Kelly Johnson performed some secondary market research and found that there were no lemonade stands in the popular park near her house. She was in the startup business. She wanted to see if she could make money operating a lemonade stand. So she is making her assumptions now. She talked to the local municipality to see if she could set up a booth in the busy park near a bike path where joggers and bikers frequently exercised. Before she registered her business and spent money on marketing and supplies, Kelly needed to test her business assumptions by talking to people in the park about the need for a lemonade stand on warm days. And here are her assumptions. Kelly's lemonade stand believes she would provide cold, freshly squeezed, refreshing lemonade on the go to exercisers, walkers, joggers, and bikers. These thirsty park exercises would pay 75 cents per cup of lemonade, and she assumed that most people would tip her. So think about where these numbers go and where these where this costs go and who she's serving. Before launching, Kelly made a list of the supplies she thought she would need for her lemonade stand. She started out by researching lemonade recipes and found that she would need lemons, sugar, and ice to keep the drinks cold, a cooler, a lemon squeezer, styrofoam cups, paper, markers, and poster board. Kelly's brother would design a booth for her, a lemonade stand. Kelly started to create a logo that she'd also test. She wanted to test that to make sure prospective customers understood what her logo meant. And she put it on her booth sign and on flyers that she would distribute throughout town. She assumed she'd also advertise Kelly's lemonade stand in the local newspaper. Kelly assumed she'd hire a few employees after a couple months to assist her with the lemonade production and sales, and she'd find suppliers who would provide her ingredients and supplies at a lower rate. Kelly hoped that she'd be doing so well, she'd enlarge her lemonade stand for next summer. So let's go through the business model canvas with Kelly's lemonade stand in mind. Any questions on this so far? Raise your hand if you want to speak or put it in the chat and I can see the chat. Okay, we'll start with box number 1. So what problem does Kelly believe she's going to help for the customer?
Do we have a hand raised?
Do we have a hand raised?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Great. Someone want to tell me what problem Kelly's helping to solve?
Mohammed, go ahead.
Yep. She's trying to address, a jogger's issue if needed, to quench their thirst, sort of thing. So she's trying to set up a stand. Okay. Yeah. But do these things, my question was, do these things, a stand, does it require any registrations, licenses? Because these are.
Oh, yes, she probably does require a business license and a permit to operate in the park. Yeah, so those would be other items that would be costs, right?
All right. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That was one thing already.
Great. So number 1, the value that Kelly provides, like Mohammed said, she provides lemonade for busy exercisers. So that's box number 1. Box number 2 is for whom does Kelly believe that she's going to create value? Who are her customers? Who's going to buy Kelly's product? Who does she believe is going to buy her product? Does anyone want to raise their hand or chat with that? Okay, Mohammed, again, thank you. Joggers and park visitors. Yes, so she's really going to focus on the thirsty park exercisers. And she believes that that's who she's going to serve. So she's going to try to get out to the park and talk to them and maybe interrupt them while they're jogging, just to see if they would like to have a lemonade stand in the park for them. And this is her niche. So she really wants to be focused on park exercisers. She doesn't really want to start with families or, people just sitting on benches. She really wants to help the exercisers. And maybe she'll have to change her idea after she talks to the exercisers. Local people that exercise. Yes, thank you, Eric. So that's box number 2. So she believes that she's going to serve cold, tasty lemonade on the go for busy exercisers, and she believes her customers are going to be thirsty park exercisers. Okay, how does Kelly believe she's going to get her product to the client? How will she reach clients And how will she be selling her product?
She's going to set up a stand by the park. So
Yes. So she believes she'll be helping people with booths, her lemonade stand sales. A booth, local people that exercise, right? Booth sales. So you see how this is a simpler idea than writing up a whole business plan? This basically has the 9 components of a business plan. And what I encourage people to do is, you can start with this, write it in pencil and scribble it out. There is an online version that I'll talk about later that you can also use. But you get out, talk to people, and come back, and maybe this changes based on what you've heard in the marketplace. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're getting encouragement. Okay, this is box number 4. How will she interact with her customers, or why does she, how will she get more customers? How will she build her relationships with her clients? Does anyone want to share? Anyone want to put it in the chat? Any guess, any idea of how Kelly believes she's going to interact with customers? David says Kelly can engage in discussions with park exercises and take their input on her product. Correct. She's going to have personal interactions, probably. That's what she believes will work for her. She sees them at the park. She'll start talking to them to do her relationship building. Maybe she uses some social media tactics. Maybe she goes on Facebook and, looks up her local neighborhood Facebook group and gets on the Facebook group and starts talking to people to sell her lemonade and to sell her idea. Great, so that's box number 4. Any questions? Okay, let's move to box number 5. How does Kelly believe she's going to earn money from customers? What kind of revenue streams is she relying on?
she's thinking of charging them 75 cents per cup.
Yeah, 75 cents per cup. So she's going to have that revenue stream.
And the assumption is she'll get some tips.
Yep, tips also. Great. So lemonade sales and tips. Now, if Kelly wants to make $7,500 per month, she'll have to sell how many? She'll have to sell, over, what would that be? 75, probably 1,000, it'll be 1,000 cups of lemonade in a month. So like 30 a day, at least 30 a day. So can she do that? That's another thing to consider. We're not going to go over the revenue model here, but she has to start thinking about whether she'll make enough money doing this to cover her costs. Oh, 10,000 for 7,500. Okay, even more than that. Plus tips. 10,000 busy exercisers in a month. If she wants to make 7,500, that's a lot of money to make in a month in lemonade, but you see where I'm going. If she wants to make, $750, then it's a lot less people. But then it's less than $12,000 a year. So you got to start thinking that way too. What's financially feasible? Okay, let's move on to box number 6. What kind of activities does Kelly need to do to provide value? What does she need to do better than her competition? Now, I didn't hear she had competition, but direct competition in the park, but there are other ways she'll meet competition. Maybe the exercisers don't stop in the park. Maybe they really get thirsty and on their walk home back to their house, they stop at the local 7-Eleven and pick up a water bottle, or maybe they bring their own water bottle and jog with that. Or I've seen those bags people wear when they're running through, maybe they already have their water, so they don't need a lemonade. So this is what she's got to get out and talk to people about. So what kind of activities does she do that she needs to provide value for? Yeah, Kelly would need an easy to approach stand, source of lemons, outward appearance, the quality of lemonade. Yes, all that is good. So she's going to have to do a great job making lemonade. She's going to have to do a great job marketing and a great job selling. Yeah, so you're right. Her booth will have to be nice and will attract people. She's probably going to have a sense of humor or something to persuade her clients. Healthy lemonade, yes. Arlene, thank you. Source of lemons, purity of water, right. Personal relationships, yes, thanks, Cheryl. She's going to have personal relationships so she can call them out and say, hey, Mary, why don't you come over and get your lemonade for today? Okay, so that is box number 6.
You have someone's hand raised?
Okay. Great, Arlene.
Oh, I was gonna say she could do the healthy lemonade.
Yeah, do the healthy lemonade and sell that. Yeah.
Since they're joggers, they'll be interested in that.
Yeah.
Staying healthier, yeah, it's different from any other lemonade.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you.
Welcome.
She'll want to position her booth in an area which is visible to visitors. Yes, thank you. Okay, box number 7 is who you are and what you have. So what does Kelly need to have in order to deliver on her value proposition? Who's on her team? Winston says promoting it and buying organic lemons. True, that's helpful. Any resources she'll need to have in order to be the best lemonade stand in the community. She needs motivation for sure, yeah. She'll have to really believe in her idea and believe that it's going to make a difference in the community. She's also going to need the best ingredients. We talked about how she may need organic lemonades. She's going to need some great salespeople, and she'll need an attractive booth. I think word of mouth and her outreach, yes. That will all have to work. Okay. Now, are you starting to understand how this applies to your business or your business idea? How you make some assumptions and then get out and talk to people, and maybe Kelly talks to the exercisers and figures out that no, they're not the people that she wants to help. Maybe she wants to help families that are walking through the park slowly, so they take their time and visit with her at the lemonade stand. Get a famous sports person to endorse her lemonade. Yes. She had a brother helping with her stand, so personal help outside of clients. Great. Yeah, maybe she'll want to help couch potatoes, but I wonder if couch potatoes will even be out walking in the park, hopefully. Oops, I skipped ahead. Box number 8 is who helps you, and you probably already saw the answer. So who does Kelly believe is going to have to help her? And it is the municipality and her suppliers. So the people that are supplying the organic lemons, the people that are helping her with her marketing, She may want to talk to local running clubs to see if they could sponsor her booth. So there are all different ways to find key partners, but you got to get out and talk to people again. And this is not always fun. Talking to strangers is not easy, but once you do it, it starts feeling exhilarating. I have a client who she was going to sell a new tool for Black children. So she had a comb that she was going to help detangle Black children's hair. So what she did to test her idea is she was in Target and she would go up to talk to strangers in the child section of Target. And then she went to the hair section of Target and started talking to people about her idea. And she had a sample tool with her. And she said the first time she did this, she started hyperventilating and she had to run out to her car. But after she did it a number of times, she got such great feedback that she continued to do it. And it made her change her tool and make it, work better and make it more appealing to her target market. So the final box here is what you give. This is box number 9. So what are the major costs of Kelly's business? What does she believe is going to cost her money? Oops, I just showed you the answer too. She may need to redirect her customer to outside event goers as opposed to joggers. Yes, who are more healthy and conscientious. That's true. So the costs of her business here are some of the costs. She may have more ingredients, equipment, salaries, and flyers. She'll need to figure out the amount of these costs also to make sure that her revenue will cover these costs. Traveling costs to different areas for more runners. Yes, she may have to, maybe instead of doing a booth, it makes more sense for her to have a cart so she can walk around and talk to people around the park. So these are all things Kelly should talk to people about before she spends any money on her business. And this is what I encourage you to do. So that's the sample of Kelly's lemonade stand using the business model canvas. I hope you can see how it applies to you. I thought we would take a 5-minute break and then come back and we can work together. You can raise your hand if you have questions, but I'll give you like 10 minutes to start your own business model canvas. So using numbers 1 through 9, start writing down your assumptions. If you're starting a business, you'll write your assumptions for starting. If you are pivoting and you want to test a new idea, maybe you're going to move your online sales now and you want to move to a brick and mortar store, you want to test that idea, you can list those 9 assumptions. Okay, so let's meet back here. It's 10:18 at 10:23, and then we can work through your business model canvas. Okay, go get a cup of coffee. Okay, like one more minute. Oh, SJ asked if I can show the scenario again on the screen. Okay. Oops, going the wrong way. Here you go. Yeah, so if anyone wants to take a snapshot of this. Do not have full screen visible. I don't know what, I think that might be on your end, Mohammed. I think, can everyone see this? Yes, okay. Okay, thank you. So if you want to take a picture of this, and then do you want to take a picture of this, I'll give you a minute to do that, and then you can take a picture of the final filled out business model canvas. I mean, if you want to email me, let me put my email address in the chat, and I can give you a copy of this. So you need to reach out to me and then I can send it to you. So if people have a picture of this, then let's take a picture of, yes, I can see, but the matter is not fully displayed. I don't know what that means. Okay, Mohammed, if you want to email me, I can send you a version of this so you can read it. And then let's go to the final version here. And you can take a picture of this. Okay. So this is what I talked about before. There's Canvanizer, canvanizer.com, and they have a business model canvas tool that you can use online. The business model canvas was created by Alexander, excuse me, Osterwalder, based on his book, Business Model Ontology. And it outlines the 9 boxes which form the building blocks for the business model in a one-page canvas. If you want to try business model canvas without entering your email address, please use their Canvanizer 2.0 business model canvas demo for a first impression. I don't think they charge you for this. No, it's a free tool. So if you want to give your email and your canvas title, you can start building your canvas. Otherwise, just use numbers 1 through 9. And here are the questions. I want you to start filling out your business model canvas for your idea. Think about your assumptions and then think about ways to test your assumptions. I'll put the questions back up here. But I know we had a consultant, we had a skincare line. Let me look in the, see if I can go back to the chat, go back. Pelvic floor physical therapy clinic. So Ariel, you're going to want to get out. If you haven't opened already, you're going to want to talk to people about their needs. Nonprofit feeding the homeless, a vet, you're going to want to make sure there are homeless in the community where you're starting up. Jasmine, you're going to want to make sure that people like your vegan cafe, your vegan pastries. So you're going to want to test your pastries, get out and test them before you start up. You're going to want to go to a farmer's market or just pop up in a local restaurant or a local shop to make sure people really love your pastries. Arlene is television and film producer. You're going to want to think about what problems you're going to solve by producing TV and films. Kiara's going to do project management consultant. I'd love for you to narrow this down and have a really small niche, Kiara. So what type of projects will you manage? I talk about niches, and that's really narrowing who you help down to a really particular group of people, even down to the age group, a 5-year age group, if age matters. Because if you target everyone, no one will find you. So a lot of people can't get over this, can't understand this, but once you have a really narrow niche, for example, Oprah created a really narrow niche. She called her Susie. Susie was a housekeeper that lived in the suburbs. Back when Oprah started, there were a lot more women who didn't get to work, who sat at home. And Oprah catered to them. So at every production meeting that she had, she pretended that Susie was at the table with her. And she targeted Susie for every show that she made. Now, people other than Susie, people other than the housewives that were at home started liking Oprah, but she really targeted her marketing. So her marketing was not as expensive. And people that she wanted to target really saw her, really found her. So Winston is bringing healthy snacks and desserts to communities across Chicago. Okay, I'd like to make sure that people like your snacks and desserts. Get out and test them before you spend any money on a brick and mortar store. David is doing his pet sitting business. Oh, he's already done this for 8 years, but he wants to attract more clients. So yeah, so that means getting out and talking to people, figure out new ways of reaching your target market. So maybe that is door-to-door marketing in the neighborhood. People are home now, so they are opening their doors. A skincare line. Make sure that people like your skincare line. Web development and IT resource staffing business. Yeah, make sure you have a target market. So what companies are you resourcing and staffing for? Startup catering, yes, Anissa, that's great. Make sure you test what you're catering and have a small menu to start so you don't spend too much money. You figure out what you're really good at. Stigma and fear of mental, emotional health. Yes, really figure out your problem you're solving. Okay. Construction, field, concrete business. I don't know what construction field means. Concrete business? Yes, so really narrow your target market, Anna. With whom are you going to work with? Okay, does anyone have any questions? Here's one more question. Notebooks and stationery for women. Okay, Tawana.
You have two hands up.
Okay, great. Does someone want to ask? No, I can't. Let's see. Can I see who's? Some person want to go ahead?
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. This is Kier. So for my project management, I really focus on nonprofit project management and helping them build capacity through research and ricket problem. So how, if you are already curating grants and you have to bring a project to fruition, what does that look like logistically? Is that specific enough, or do you need like, could you describe a little bit more about what you mean when you say specific?
Yeah, so if you could even narrow down your nonprofit target, so maybe you're helping nonprofits in the arts industry or nonprofits in, the food, feeding those that are hungry, or nonprofits that are serving women, like women business development centers, a nonprofit. Because then you'll become an expert at those nonprofits, at working with those nonprofits within the industry, and you can share your expertise and say, hey, I already did a project for Feed the Hungry, so I can help you, Chicago Food Depository, with the same type of project. And maybe it's a couple industries that you're an expert in, but really narrow it, because then you can say in your marketing materials, hey, I've got 5 years experience helping food-based nonprofits or helping arts-based nonprofits. Does that answer your question, Kiara?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, great. Did someone else have their
We
hand
have
raised?
another hand up.
Okay, great.
Okay, hi, Maura, this is
Hi.
Cheryl. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so my question was in terms similar to Kira's, as far as being a little more specific. I don't know if you saw mine in the chat, but what my idea is to help underrepresented, marginalized communities here in Chicago who are really, they have not only the stigma, but a lot of fear when it comes to mental and emotional health, and just kind of being the bridge between getting them some accurate information and also getting them to that help, or even finding the help. Is that, or do I need to bring that down even more?
Yeah, I would say you're going to want to do research on other nonprofits, because there might be nonprofits doing this. And in that case, it might be better to act as a consultant to them rather than starting your own nonprofit. I know I don't want to quash anyone's dreams, but sometimes it makes sense to get hired by someone and work in the industry for a while. But you may want to be the nonprofit that serves children with mental health issues, or menopausal women with, you really want to narrow it so you are the expert and your nonprofit serves them.
And does it necessarily have to, because I hadn't been thinking nonprofit, but does it necessarily have to be a nonprofit? Because I hadn't thought about that part at all.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be a nonprofit.
Okay. Because I hadn't investigated anything about nonprofit.
At the Women's Business Development Center, my SBDC grant doesn't cover us helping nonprofits, but I would encourage my clients who want to start a nonprofit to think about starting a for-profit with a social mission. Because it's difficult to get grant funding. And this is speaking from someone who's working at a nonprofit. A nonprofit has to really work hard to get grant funding. I know you have to really work hard to get sales, to make sales, but we are working constantly, and we always, are working to get more grants, more money. So if you can do it as a for-profit and have a social mission and say you're going to be a consultant to, maybe you could be a consultant to nonprofits and help them do their research around mental health and wellness.
Okay.
Or you could be, I don't know if you are an expert at mental health? Are you a therapist? Maybe you could start up your own practice and help people that way.
I am not a therapist. I'm working as just a coach at this point, but I
Okay.
am considering, because I am so passionate about this, I am considering going back for my master's for
Okay.
social work. But right now, I'm trying to get really clear what exactly I should do, the steps I
Yep.
should do first. So I was glad to see this course come up. And as I said, I hadn't thought about nonprofit at all. I hadn't, that wasn't even on the table for me. Um, but just a few things that you've mentioned about working, because NAMI Chicago, their office here is one that I have on my list to contact.
Yeah,
Um, so maybe that might be an idea to start.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure. Any other people with a question?
You have one more.
Okay. You can go ahead if you.
That I'm not sure. Sure they can.
Yvette, do you want to ask your question?
She wants to ask anymore because I've given her permission to talk.
Okay.
Well, let's go to the other person.
Okay. Mohammed, you have a question?
Yes, in fact, I'm not researching or doing stuff. I'm already in business.
Okay.
Since pandemic, I left my job to do this. I was a business analyst actually and a project manager. So with some IT background, thing is business background, not coding or stuff like that. So here is I have set up this consulting company,
Mhm.
and as you said, I had the assumptions which were proved wrong because you know what, when you see the on the business side, you work with the vendors and partners. And on the
Right.
customer side, again, you're working with the candidates because those are the people who are looking out for jobs. And you're
Oh,
using a
so
tools.
you're an IT search?
Yes, IT
Okay.
in that. So I actually had a web development plan, which I pivoted to this recruiting side only because you know what, having your own people on the payroll is a bigger challenge. So financially, it was not feasible to start with that.
Okay. So you have two target markets. So you are trying to recruit excellent employees
Yeah.
for IT businesses.
So see, employees in the sense they could work on my project or I can pivot them to, if not, I can reach out to the clients and, get them hired on the project.
Okay.
So I have a sort of a team. So it's a little bit, it's challenging at this point of time. I had figured out stuff. So I've been in it for a year and a half. So now it is, clients were the main problem because you know what, vendors, when you just initially start with, they push you around because you know what, you're not reaching directly to the sources who want your project staff.
Right.
So you're directly not dealing. So they're taking your candidates and they're just giving you a purchase order. So in a way, you're not reaching out to the client. So that's why what I did was after a year, I thought, okay, I need help. So luckily in the research, I found, Development Council, so through them, I was able to reach even BACP. And then here, that's why I'm just trying to attend these webinars to see if there's a window for me to reach out to the clients and work direct.
Hmm. Yeah, so you can make an appointment with me or if you email me, I can send a link to my calendar.
Yeah, yes, definitely we can, have,
So you're
if you
you're
could.
really interested in scaling or pivoting your idea.
Yes, I do have, see, there are a few things I could definitely talk to you on these things. And um, it's a self, individual corporation that I registered. And now, since you need store within Chicago, so I registered and then I have a place. So financially, it's stretching me out. I have invested myself in it. I do have contracts in place because of
Good.
the tools and things in here. But then these contracts are with the, sub vendors. Like even if I want to do for state or any project, you go through agencies like Deltec or something. But now, if I'm in Chicago, business affairs and consumer protection, probably I have a window to look into.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Well, let's take this.
Yeah.
If you want to email me, because I want
Yeah.
to
Well,
see if anyone else has any questions. Thank you for sharing. Okay,
I'm gonna try to unmute Yvette again.
Yvette, okay. Yvette,
Yes.
oh, there we go. There we go.
Hello?
Hello there. Do you have a question, Yvette?
Oh, yeah, I had a question because I was understanding when you was talking about the nonprofit programs that it was hard to get into. Because I was trying to do a building where I could feed the homeless 3 meals a day and like give them fresh, clean clothes and everything. And I was talking to one of my neighbors from a church, because they said communicate with your community.
Yeah. I mean, you may be able to do it. I would suggest you try to work at a nonprofit first before you try to set one up, and then see, because there are plenty of churches doing, and churches are nonprofits, plenty of churches helping the homeless. So if you go and talk to a church and see if you can help them, and then if you love the work, watch how they're doing it, watch how they're getting their money, getting their funding, see how much work it takes to get the food or get the clothing. And then that might inspire you to move forward with your own nonprofit.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
because the church, the neighbor next door to me, I know his church. In the summertime, they give out food, so that's why I was talking to him. So they ain't giving out the food no more during the winter time.
Okay.
And then another church, I know they feed. Well, ain't none in my neighborhood right now. But I went to another neighborhood where the lady invited me to come and watch them feed the homeless from the church.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Get out there and talk to people and see if you like the work.
Oh, okay then.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. David, I don't know if you're going to be covering this, but are there future certificates or licenses we should look at? I mean, you should talk to BACP, Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, about that. They'll know everything about Chicago licenses. Okay, so let's think about how you can test your assumptions for the last few minutes here. So you've made all your assumptions in your 9 boxes. You believe that you're going to serve, Kelly believes she's going to serve exercisers in the park. Now she needs to test those assumptions. The best way to do it is really to get out and talk to people and we call them customer discovery interviews. So you start talking to strangers about your idea, start talking to companies. If your business is business to business, you want to talk to other companies and see if they would like your services, if they want your consulting services, if they're interested in the problem that you solve with your services. Get out and talk to people and take notes and keep talking to people. Northwestern Kellogg School of Business, they have a program like this, a class for their students that get into Kellogg that is all about testing ideas, and they do it over 12 weeks, and they are challenged to talk to 100 different people about their business idea. So it might involve a lot of talking to people before you come up with a firm idea and before you're sure that there's market need. A discovery survey is another way to test your idea. In this instance, you would write up a survey. SurveyMonkey, I believe, is free, and you can, gather emails and send it out on emails, or some of these Facebook groups might let you do it. I know Backdoor. I'm wondering if Nextdoor is our community newsletters that are online. Maybe they'd let you put in their survey. Maybe a church would let you survey people. So you would ask questions about what problem people have, if they have the problem that you're solving, if they get thirsty in the park when they exercise and they'd like lemonade. Another way to test is create a brochure and distribute your brochure, and put on the bottom of the brochure a call to action, like email me if you have more questions, and see if you get any feedback that way. See if people are willing to talk to you after you send out your brochure or you distribute your brochure around the neighborhood. Now that might be a more expensive way to do things, but it is a good way to test, especially people like the pet. I think that was it, David, that is doing the pet sitting business. Create a little brochure. The other way to test your assumptions are to use social media. I have a client who wanted to be a career coach. She was already coaching in her full-time job, but she wanted to help people decide, when is it time to quit my job? When is it time to start looking for a job? How do I quit my job? What do I say to my boss to have my career be better for me? And what she did is she created TikTok videos, and she created 3 videos a week. They were each about a minute long. And she now has 70,000 TikTok followers. And she created her business around the questions that people asked her. So she kind of did her own surveying of the market, and she found people were asking similar questions. So now she has built her business, and she serves people with the questions they have on TikTok. And she just got a speaking engagement, a paid speaking engagement. So she's going to go around the country and speak about the topic about career coaching. So she did it on TikTok. She used social media that way. Now we're not all going to get 70,000 followers. You might not get any. It takes some art to create TikTok videos, but if you're funny and you can get out there and talk about your idea and see if people have the problem or the need, then that's good. Okay, well, thank you for today. We got to introduce ourselves, become oriented with the Women's Business Development Center. I hope you go to our website, and on the website is our team, and you can make appointments with any of the people on our team. Their calendar links are given. I am fully booked up through till the end of November because I am taking a vacation in November, a long vacation. So December will be more open, and that will come true in that calendar will come live in a couple weeks. And then you started drafting your business model canvas. So hopefully now you can go out and start testing your ideas and figuring out what the market needs. So action is the antidote to anxiety. I told you about the client of ours that started hyperventilating, and she kept going, and she is doing well. I would love some feedback. So if you could take out your cell phones, this survey is accessible via a text. So if you text in your cell phone 415-903-9232, and all you do is type in workshop and click on the survey link. and click on OK. And at the bottom of the page is you can choose other and just type in where it says, please specify, type in business model canvas. And answer the questions. When it asks you to rate the guest speaker, there's no guest speaker today. Some of our workshops have guest speakers. So if you could fill that out and give me some ideas of other topics you'd like to cover, I can always come back to BACP and give other topics. Great, I'm glad you found it an easier way to create your business plan. Yes, it's much easier. I know some advisors really want you to work through a business plan, but right now I'm not having people do business plans to start up. Unless they've already been working in their business and they have customers, then we do that, and then it's easier to get a loan. You need a business plan for a loan, but sometimes you don't even need a business plan for a loan. Okay, David is shamelessly plugging in pause in. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm glad you found that it was helpful. Okay, I hope you get a chance to give me feedback. It helps me, and it helps pay it forward. By giving me feedback, then I know what to help in the next time I give, how to help in the next time I give this webinar. A lot to think about. Great. Someone was panicking a lot about a business plan. You are welcome.
If you are a part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you get credit for joining this webinar today by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. Again, that's bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. Thank you and have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you.